So a lot of people have been asking me to do the black wife effect video. I'm gonna tell you why I'm not doing it. First and foremost, because I still look like a before photo. Secondly, I don't want to minimize the experience of being with this woman to how she's aesthetically changed me. The second half of this is really gonna read like a love letter to her, so sorry. Stick around if you want. Baby, this is really for you. I've had highs and lows in this life, and this woman has changed me into the highest of highs I've ever experienced. This woman has taken me on a spiritual journey, a physical journey. She's brought me into a space where not only do I enjoy the moment, but I plan for the future now. I was existing before her. Now I'm living because of her.
I'm starting to realize I might need a new sock for my mic. But I really like the way that this sock makes my voice sound. I feel like without it, my voice is just too aggressive into the mic. Maybe I need to work on the settings a little bit more. But I love the way that the sock makes my voice sound. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but so I live in Texas right now. And ever since I moved here, I've been working with kids. My voice has not gotten any better. Like, ever since that one video where I said, "What the fuck is wrong with my voice has never improved since then. I'm literally Scarlett Johansson right now. I've heard that I have a nice voice, so no one really seems to have a problem with it. My cat is outside of my room meowing. She likes to knock over my camera and stuff, so she's gonna stay there. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Missy if you're new here, and in today's video I wanted to talk about the black wife effect, which is a really popular trend that's been going around on TikTok. And this has been going on for a couple of months now. I'm a little bit late to the sauce, but I thought, you know what, this is not a topic that I could just keep quiet about. So let's get into it. The black wife effect is a trend on TikTok that showcases interracial couples consisting of a black wife and a non-black husband. TikToks partaking in this trend tend to show a non-black man's before, less swag, maybe less sex appeal, and then his after, exhibiting him with what appears to be more fashion sense, a style of clothing that fits more closely with societal standards of cool and urban, and may even have a cool haircut to tie it all together. Now, I've seen more people than not saying that the black wife effect is a positive trend, that these men were in desperate need of this glow up, and that this trend is a classic example of how black women are nurturers by nature. But some people found an issue with it.
Now, I hate to be the one to stir the pot. I really do. But I'm sorry. If I see some hypocritical shit, I'm calling it out. It's a trend going on right now, and they're calling it the black wife effect, right? Pretty much, it's black women who are married outside of their race, and they're showing the before and the after of their husband being married to them, right? Like I always say, I don't give a damn about nobody's preference. You can marry the size, shape, color. You can marry whoever and whatever you want. I don't give a damn. But this is where I do have an issue. Just read these comments. I'm loving these black wife effect. Keep them coming, ladies. 15.5 thousand likes. The material was always there. Sis said, "Rise, king," and he did. 1,200 likes. I love this trend. God damn, you won. Shit. Girl, what kind of seasoning you used on this one? Now let's flip the roles real quick. If black men was coming out here posting on this app, showing the before and after of they white wives and they other race wives, saying they put seasoning on them, because all the seasoning really is like you could just tell they've been involved in black culture and now they a little bit culture. That's really all the seasoning that they put. But if black men was doing this with they white wives and they Hispanic and Asian wives, oh my God, we wouldn't be able to breathe. I'm black, my daughter black, her mama black, she got 4 black grandparents. But if I was in these comments asking, "Oh, what seasoning you put on that one?" Man, what? Y'all would be giving me hell. And don't act like y'all wouldn't.
Now, there was the obvious "if the roles were reversed, this wouldn't work" comment by black men. I do have to say, this man might not be wrong. Perhaps if it were black men making the same style TikTok, it would be deemed inappropriate. Some might even say it's self-hate. But let's not forget why people have this reaction as well. Black women have consistently picked black men as their preference, and some might even argue that most of the black women stepping outside of their race for marriage did so because of the hardships that they faced dating or attempting to date inside their race. The same isn't true when the roles are reversed, because black men historically have dated outside their race more than any other group. So many may argue that it's just not the same. I personally just wish that we would stop this weird, sometimes competitive way of interacting with each other as black men and women. I feel like it definitely goes both ways, because if we keep looking for opportunities to call each other out on social media, most likely someone from either party is going to do the same in the future, and it's just going to be a back and forth. We need to learn to live and let live, and that goes for both men and women, because let's face it, we rarely see this back and forth with men and women in other races. I'm not saying that negative things cannot be discussed among men and women of the same race and that it automatically causes division. I just think that we do get carried away in the debates sometimes, to the point where it literally looks like we're going at it with each other and like we're at war with each other all the time. And then to see things like the white wife effect trend happening on TikTok as well, I think it kind of took away from his point, because it actually is happening. It's not the same impact, and it's actually hilarious. The same way that white men are getting blackified, in a sense, black men or men of color are getting whiteified and removing some of their seasoning, as some would joke. I think, in a sense, many, not all, but many of the people who see this and don't particularly prefer black women, and I'm not saying that the black man who made this video doesn't like black women. I literally do not know him. I just feel like many people who don't particularly prefer to date or to marry black women just don't like the fact that a black woman is the one in the position as the person who upgrades one's life, because they simply don't want her and they don't prefer her, but simultaneously they feel like they're missing out on something. And I bet it's a really hard thing to deal with. I think that is what's causing a certain group of people to throw a fit. On the other hand, other points were made that were very interesting, so I couldn't neglect to bring those up as well. So like I said, that man's opinion was not the only negative opinion about the trend. I saw others say that this trend may not be as positive as it seems when you scratch a little beneath the surface. Now, according to popsugar.com, the trend has sparked an important conversation about misogynoir and harmful stereotypes. The article is titled "The Problem with the Black Wife Effect" on TikTok, and Daria Yasmin goes on to talk about how this trend others black women and subtly highlights how black women are often expected to take on roles that benefit others. She goes on to say that the roles society places us in, or often sees us as suitable for, pushes this idea that our value is transactional. How often are we seen as the person in the relationship who has to bring more to the table, or is put there only because of their ability to help others improve their lives? Whether it is through boosting confidence, offering advice, or upgrading style, too often have black women be seen as the ones who will benefit others. The article raises important points like the black woman's role as a mommy, and though historical, this trope seems to reappear in many ways. In an article titled "Why Are We Still Depicting Black Women as Mommies?" Basiki Kayambe, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, thoughtfully states, "The mommy trope frames black women as subordinate, gentle, sage advisors, warm maternal-like figures, often plump in stature, holding a rolling pin and a beaming smile. The stereotype was born from the South's refusal to completely let go of slavery after losing the American Civil War." She goes on to talk about how the mommy exists only to take care of the needs of her white family, and when you think about the tropes that black women get used in on and off screen, you start to see the connection. We are often seen in a positive light only when we are benefiting others, especially non black people, and it furthers the message that we have to sacrifice ourselves in order to be visible, while our white counterparts are valuable and visible simply because they exist. I can see how this others us, because it can be argued that we are seen as black first, women second. So, in a way, our blackness works to other us. I mean, looking back at first wave feminism, we see how it was a movement with no black women in mind. Though black and white women share the commonality of being women, black women were seen as black first. I think this is why so many people on social media seem to have their guard up and that they're not so quick to take this stuff as a compliment. Rather, I feel like they see the ramifications of consistently viewing black women as saviors or as worthy only in relation to what they can do for others, especially white people. I see why so many take issue with the idea of black women being happy to be of servitude to a white man, even though negative depiction of this trope exists more historically than in the present day. But if we wanted to come up with a present day example of this, the article even goes on to talk about how shows like Bridgerton fall into what they refer to as the mommy trap. Remember how Lady Danbury, the only dark-skinned woman on the show, was only really given the spotlight to tell her story in relation to how she took care of the Duke of Hastings all throughout his childhood, how she was emotionally there for him. And then we see how her story in relation to her affair with the dad from the Bridgerton family, we see how that is put in the spotlight, but we never really see how her own story developed. We just don't learn much about her. We don't even really know how she acquired her status. In fact, she appears to be very unhappy, but the writers never really bothered to dive further into her emotional state or her emotional needs. So yeah, this is an example of the mammy trap and how we see it in present day. But it's funny how I'm always speculating when I'm watching shows and stuff, but I never really viewed Bridgerton in that way. But when you think about it, it definitely is something that exists and it continues to exist in present day. So I definitely see why people might have some sort of issue with it. Now, I personally never really viewed the black wife effect with like an analytical lens until recently when I was making this video. I noticed that a lot of people found it to be positive, and I feel like I kind of just jumped on the bandwagon with that. But it's definitely something that I feel like can be looked at in a deeper sense. And clearly, if you do, you will see that there is so much more to it, and you'll start to kind of understand why people have the opinions that they do. But I definitely want to hear your opinion, so please leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about the black wife effect. If you think it's positive, you think it's negative, if you think there's some ramifications to it. And don't forget to leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you feel like it, obviously. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.